إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها فكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعله عوجا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. All praise is due to Allah who has guided us to this path, and we would not have been able to guide ourselves had not Allah chosen to guide us. All praise is due to Allah who has revealed the scripture unto his servant and has made no crookedness therein. One of the greatest calamities in our day and time is the erosion of the brotherhood and sisterhood between Muslims. We see the consequences of that erosion in faraway lands where Muslims are bombing Muslims, as in Yemen or in Syria. Muslims are transgressing against Muslims. Muslims are creating hellacious conditions where millions of refugees have to flee their lands fearing other Muslims. Saying that we're not to excuse, for example, the United States Air Force or in their bombardments of Muslim areas or invasions and occupations, but the reality on the ground today is that 99.9% of every Muslim who dies in a theater of war, be they a military personnel or civilian, overwhelmingly civilians, they're killed by another Muslim. The 1 million and growing cholera victims in Yemen, children, women, elderly, they're victims of the actions of other Muslims. Someone might say, well, the bombs are American and the planes are American. That's all true. But the pilots are Muslims. The bases are staffed by Muslims. The one loading the bombs are Muslims. And someone might say, well, those are our good guys. What about the other guys? In a place like Syria, all that carnage, how much of that has been attributed to Muslims? So we see the brotherhood eroded, but we see in our own lands. We don't have to go overseas. If we look at the relations, we find Muslims pass each other on the street, look, before giving the salam, look the person up and down. Does he look like one of us? If he doesn't, then we walk right by him. Many Muslims, I shouldn't say we, perhaps no one here, But this is something that happens on a regular basis. Our Prophet ﷺ has warned us against those things that erode our brotherhood. Or in the case of the sisters, the sisterhood. And he's given us advice that if we follow it, it will strengthen the ties and the bonds of brotherhood between us. So he says, as reported by Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تحاسدوا ولا تناجشوا ولا تباغضوا ولا تدابروا ولا يبيع بعضكم على بيع بعض وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا. المسلم أخو المسلم لا يظلمه ولا يكذبه ولا يخذله ولا يحكره. التقوى ها هنا ويشير إلى صدره 3 مرات بحسب امرئ من الشر أن يحكر أخاه المسلم. كل المسلم على المسلم حرام دمه وماله وعرضه. So he says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as reported by Abi Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, do not envy one another. Do not conspire against each other. Generally, specifically, la tanajashu, do not engage in treacherous actions and transactions where you harm a Muslim buyer or seller with no intention to buy the commodity. It's a dastardly act. So you see someone buying something. He says, I can give you $10 for it. That's all I have. And instead of allowing him to complete the transaction, no, I'll give you 20. And then he takes his 10 back. I only have 10, so, you have to give it to him. Then he leaves. Then after he leaves, the guy says, no, I changed my mind. I'll pass. He just wanted to hurt the guy who was trying to buy it for $10. You can see that's dastardly. Or he wanted to hurt the merchant to deprive him of a sale. That's a dastardly action. That's what najash is. La tanajashu. Don't do that to each other. But generally, it means don't conspire against each other. Don't hate one another. Don't turn your backs to one another. Don't enter into a transaction once your brother has entered into it. Be you servants of Allah, brothers or sisters, whatever the case may be. Every Muslim is the brother of their fellow Muslim. He neither oppresses him, nor does he lie to him, nor does he abandon and forsake him, nor does he look down on him and demean him. The piety is here, and he pointed to his chest, meaning to his heart, 3 times. It's sufficient evil for a person to look down on or despise their fellow Muslim. Every Muslim is sacred, or has a sanctity, a better choice of word, concerning his or her fellow Muslim, their life, their honor, their property. In other words, to violate the life, the honor, or property of another Muslim is as haram as eating a pork sandwich spliced with pig, with lard bread, washing it down with a bottle of wine. That's how haram it is. كل المسلم على المسلم حرام دمه وماله وعرضه. So to go back to the beginning, the first thing the Prophet mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't envy one another. Envy is a disease. Envy is one of the greatest forms of a rejection, of the blessings of Allah. What is envy? Envy is the desire to see a blessing Allah has bestowed upon His servant taken away. The brother gets a new car and his brother says, I hope he has an accident. The car is taken away. I hope he has an accident. I should be driving that car. So he desires for the blessing to be taken away. And this is called one of the diseases of the Ummah. The disease of the nations that preceded you will creep up on you. So it's called the disease, one of the diseases of the nation. Why? Because it takes away the blessings from an entire nation. Allah Ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. And when your Lord proclaimed, if you give thanks for my blessings, لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, I will increase you in those blessings. So brothers and sisters, the blessings we enjoy, all Allah Ta'ala asks of us is to be thankful. Is to show gratitude for those blessings. To be amongst the Shakireen. That's all He asks of us. But then He warns, وَلَئِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ, if you reject those blessings, إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ, you should know that my punishment is severe. So we look at the state of many of our Muslim countries. Before we look at the material means and causes, we should look at the spiritual means. Which Muslim country do we know of that's not permeated, steeped in jealousy and envy? A friend of mine was on the Jordanian national basketball team. I won't say his name. He holds the records for three-pointers, three-point shots. He made 8 three-pointers in 1 quarter, the first quarter of the game. All the teammates are Muslims, and he's a Muslim. When the first quarter ended, the coaches from Portugal was at that time. When the first quarter ended, he said, why are you all frowning? You should be happy for your brother. They were all jealous, and he's making all the shots. They should be, all right, second quarter, man, we're giving you the ball. See if you can make 20 of these in the first half. We're going to feed you. Now, they're all frowning, and the coach, who's a Christian from Portugal, said, you're all jealous of him. You should be happy for him. You know, people in Muslim countries, they get new furniture, they bring it in at night. They fear the ayn. The hasud, the jealous one, is going to cast the evil eye on them. So they sneak the new furniture in the house so no one will see it. And what's the consequence of those sort of realities? Allah says, وَلَئِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. If you reject my blessings, you should know that my punishment is severe. The Marxists, they have an idea called material determinism. They look at the material relations in society. As Muslims, we have something called spiritual determinism. So they say the economic determinism. I'm sorry. The Marxists have economic determinism. If you look at and examine the economic infrastructure of a society, you can understand the social, cultural, political superstructure that's built on that infrastructure. Well, if we understand the spiritual infrastructure, we can understand the material and spiritual realities built on that infrastructure. And one thing we need to remove is jealousy. So the Prophet ﷺ, as we mentioned, he said, دَبَّ إِلَيْكُمْ دَاعُ الْأُمَمِ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. The disease of the nations that preceded you will creep up on you. الْحَسَدُ وَالْبَغْضَاءُ. Envy and hatred. وَالْبَغْضَاءُ هِيَ الْحَالِقَةُ. And hatred is a shaver, is a razor. حَالِقَةُ الدِّينِ لَا حَالِقَةُ الشَّعْرِ. It shaves away religion, not hair. It shaves away religion. A person can come, he prays first Surah Fajr every day, all 20 rakats, or how many of Taraweeh, never missed a rakah. Prays his zakat on time, every year. Attends every fundraiser, but can harbor envy in his heart. And that envy will shave away the reward of those deeds like a razor shaves the hair off of your face. وَالْبَغْضَاءُ هِيَ الْحَالِقَةُ حَالِقَةُ الدِّينِ لَا حَالِقَةُ الشَّعْرِ وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ. I swear by the one who holds the life of Muhammad in his hand. وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ لَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ حَتَّى تُؤْمِنُوا. You will not enter Jannah until you truly believe. وَلَا تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُّوا. And you will not truly believe until you love one another. لَا تَبَاغَضُوا. Don't hate one another. And then, so what is the implication of that? We have to love one another. And this is made a condition for entering paradise. لَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ حَتَّى تُؤْمِنُوا. You will not enter paradise until you truly believe. وَلَا تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُّوا. And you will not truly believe until you love one another. أَوَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ إِذَا فَعَلْتُمُوهُ تَحَبَّبْتُمْ أَفْشُوا السَّلَامَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Shall I direct you to something where you to do it, you will love one another? Spread peace amongst yourself. أَفْشُوا السَّلَامَ بَيْنَكُمْ. This has two meanings. أَفْشُوا السَّلَامَ بَيْنَكُمْ. One meaning is greet each other. So we mentioned the person they pass, they don't even greet. You're out in public, you see a Muslim so happy, and you're ecstatic. You're at the shopping center, and you see a Muslim, yeah, Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're trying to out me? Shh. People think I'm Muslim. No, afshu salam, wa assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My mother-in-law lived in Hawaii. She recently had to come with us because of her advanced years. Well, we would visit, and the Hawaiians, we read aloha, right? Aloha. We see it everywhere on macadamia nut cans, aloha. But that's not how they greet. They greet like this, aloha. They are feeling and passion, aloha. 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 And you can feel it. It's coming from the heart. The heart is the origin of the speech. So when we say, Salam, brother, let's forget it. Giving you no salam. That's an expression of what's in our heart. As one of the Arab poets, he said, إِنَّمَا الْكَلَامُ لَفِي الْفُؤَادِ وَإِنَّمَا جُعِلَ اللِّسَانُ عَلَى مَا فِي الْفُؤَادِ دَلِيلًا. The speech resides in the heart, and the tongue has only been made as an indicator of what's in the heart. وَجُعِلَ اللِّسَانُ عَلَى مَا فِي الْفُؤَادِ دَلِيلًا. So greet one another, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, wa alaikum salam. How you doing, my brother? Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. That's part of it. The other part is what is the origin of salam. Salima yaslamu salaman. So from the verb salima, yaslamu salaman. So it's from the verb that means to be safe, to be secure, not to be rendered defective. So when we say Allah's name, As-Salam, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا هُوَ اللَّهُ الرَّحْمَنُ الرَّحِيمُ الْمَلِكُ الْقُدُّوسُ As-Salam. As-Salam. So some of us say, oh, the peace. That's not what it means. The peace. It means the one who's free from any defects or imperfections. That's why Jannah, paradise, is called Darus Salam. It's the abode where the imperfections of the world won't exist. In the world we die. In Jannah we won't die. In the world we eat, we have to pass waste. In Jannah we eat, we won't pass waste. In the world we get sick. In Jannah we won't get sick. So it's the abode where the defects and the imperfections that exist in the world will no longer exist. So Allah As-Salam is the one free from defects and imperfections. So it means to be secure, to be safe from defects and imperfection. So when we say Assalamu alaikum, we're saying I'm not going to harm you in any way. Therefore the Prophet ﷺ, in defining the Muslim, and this is a definition none of us should ever forget. Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده. The Muslim is the one the other Muslims are safe from his tongue and his hand. The Muslim is the one the other Muslims are safe from his tongue and his hand. We unleash our tongue with impunity. The pen and therefore the keyboard is called a tongue. We go into the chat room, hateyourbrother.com, and we get busy unleashing all the venom we can find from the anonymity of our bedroom or our basement. We might see the brother face to face and give him one of the salams. You say, "Assalamu alaikum, brother." But when we were all alone, المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده. The Muslim is the one the other Muslims are safe from their tongue and hand. What does that say about all these Muslims killing their brother? You say, well, they're not real Muslims. So they all make takfir of each other to justify their action. That's one of the greatest harms they can do with their tongue. المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده. May Allah give us tawfiq. So he says, لا تحاسدوا. Don't envy one another. This is mentioned first because it's one of the most important. And why is it so significant? It's the action of Shaitan. Those who harbor envy, they're walking in the footsteps of Shaitan, whose footsteps we've been told to avoid. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Don't follow the footsteps of Satan. Why? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed the honor of the prostration, not prostration of worship, sajdatul takreem, وَلَا sajdatul ibadah, a sajda prostration of honor. Iblis was jealous. He felt he should have the honor. Why? Because he was a racist. Iblis was the first racist. He's the first one who claimed some distinction based on his physical composition and on his color. ما منعك ألا تسجد إذا مرت قال أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. Why didn't you prostrate to Adam when I commanded you to do so? What did he say? أنا خير منه. I'm better than him. But then he didn't make a moral argument. I'm better than him. I kiss more babies. I help more old ladies to carry their groceries. He made no kind of moral argument. He made a physical argument. خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. You created me from clay while you created me rather from fire while you created him from clay. A physical argument that has color implications. Because what color was the clay Adam was created from? Black clay. What color is Iblis's fire? So maybe some blue and depending, some red and some yellow, a little bit of green up in there, some white, some orange, and Adam's black clay. I'm better than him because of my physical composition. He's the first racist. And every racist is following his footsteps. Every racist is following in his footsteps. And he's the first envier also. He's the first hasud. And so he was cast down. As they say, the Arabs say, al-hasud la yasud. The envious one will not prevail. Iblis did not prevail. He was expelled from Jannah. So don't follow this wicked creature in his ways. لا تحاسدوا ولا تناجشوا. Don't conspire against each other. Don't conspire against each other. Be far removed from any conspiracy against your fellow Muslim. ولا تباغضوا. And don't hate one another. We mentioned this. The hatred is a razor. وَالْبَغْضَاءُ هِيَ الْحَالِكَةُ حَلَقَةُ الدِّينِ وَلَا حَلَقَةُ الشَّعْرِ. It shaves off religion, not hair. Hatred, we must love one another. We have to love one another. We're all we have. Look at all the forces joining together against the Muslims. We're all we have. And then if we're all we have, and then our ranks are torn by divisions that are fueled by hatred and dislike and petty jealousies, it doesn't augur well for us, brothers and sisters. So we have to love one another. We have to love one another. And one of the best ways to do that is to worship Allah with sincerity and conviction. For Allah tells it, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَيَجْعَلُ لَحْمَ الرَّحْمَنِ وُدًّا. Those who believe and do righteous deeds, Allah will make love for them in the hearts of people. So our righteous deed will create love in the hearts of others towards us, and love in our hearts towards others, owing to our righteous deeds. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَيَجْعَلُ لَهُمُ الرَّحْمَنُ وُدًّا. Allah will make love for them in the hearts of the people. You should understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also tells us that working for this religion is something that will foster love between us. يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم يحبونه أذلة على المؤمنين أعزة على الكافرين يجاهدون في سبيل الله ولا يخافون لومة لائم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. O you believers, whomsoever amongst you turns back, not apostate or apostatize, whatever the verb is, turns back from helping and assisting and working for this religion, Allah will bring a people whom He will love, and they will love Him. They will be gentle and merciful and loving to the believers. أذلة على المؤمنين. So when we look and we examine and we see all of these controversies and strifes and petty contentions and dissensions, ask, what are we doing for this religion? So that this promise that Allah is making us will manifest itself in our lives. مَنْ يَرْتَدَّ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِي اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّهُمْ يُحِبُّونَ أَذِلَّةً عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. What are we doing for the religion? Are we working for the religion? And then if we're not, when we see the reverse, أَذِلَّةً عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عِزَّةً عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, reverse, أَعِزَّةً عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَذِلَّةً عَلى الْكَافِرِينَ. May Allah give us tawfiq. So inshallah we finished the hadith. We got through the first 1/5 or so in the evening session. May Allah bless everyone. May Allah give us tawfiq. May Allah Ta'ala elevate us. May Allah Ta'ala rise us far, far above pettiness. In a book written by Al-Izz bin Abd al-Salam, one of the great scholars of this Ummah, called Shajaratul Ma'arif wal Ahwal, the tree of spiritual knowledge and states. He has a section, تَخَلُّقُ بِأَخْلَاقِ اللَّهِ وَتَخَلُّقُ بِأَسْمَاءِ وَصِفَاءِ اللَّهِ. Adorning yourself with the names and attributes of Allah to the extent humanly possible. And so he's going through the names of Allah, and he gets to Al-Mutakabbir, so one who is arrogant, And he says that on the surface, it appears this has no possible human adornment. Allah is mutakabbir. How can a human being be mutakabbir? But he says in reality it does. He says, at-takabbur an-radha'il, to arrogate ourselves above pettiness and vile things. So I'm too good for that. You know, brother, subhanallah, man, I was with this brother, he was talking about you like a dog. Man, he said your head is so big it made the Goodyear blimp jealous. So what you supposed to say? Well, his head is so big. They say, tell the brother I love him for the sake of التكبر عن الرذائل. If you were to respond, then you're going down into the depths of that foolishness and nonsense and pettiness and filth. So he says, and it says that's how you adorn yourself with the name al-mutakabbir. Al-takabbiru an-radha'il. Elevating yourself above petty things. May Allah bless us all to be elevated above jealousy, above conspiring against each other, hating each other, turning our backs to each other, pettiness and nonsense that we might sometimes fall into. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين يقول استغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. To just jump ahead a little in concluding, so Allah Ta'ala mentions وَلَا يَخْذُلُهُ, He doesn't abandon nor forsake him. As we all know, our dear brother Imam Siraj Wahaj and his family are going through a tremendous trial right now, so we shouldn't abandon or forsake them. But we should use wisdom. We shouldn't rush and do inopportune or counterproductive or unproductive things, but as the situation clarifies itself and as the family reaches out for assistance, either with gaining custody of their children or whatever this situation might call for, then we should be prepared to help. As we all know, Imam Siraj and what he represents, not just for this city, New York City, not just for this country, United States of America, but for this Muslim Ummah. So let us all take that to heart. وَلَا يَخْذُلُهُ. He doesn't abandon or forsake him, but let us be patient, not patient till even next week, but the next day or two, see how things are developing, and then based on that, how we can best respond to assist Imam Siraj and his family, and with special emphasis on the family. Allah help them, especially those children. Remember the young Abdul Ghani who passed away in your prayers. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslim kathira. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الهم والحزن ونعوذ بك من العجز والكسل ونعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل ونعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معاصيك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا بها جنتك ومن اليقين ما يهون بها علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقوتنا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا علمنا ولا مبلغ علمنا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا يا أرحم الراحمين. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الهم والحزن، ونعوذ بك من العجز والكسل، ونعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل، ونعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا دينا إلا قضيته، ولا مريضا إلا شفيته، ولا قربا إلا نفسته، ولا يتيما إلا آويته، ولا ضالا إلا هديته، ولا داعية إلا أظهرته، ولا مجاهدا إلا نصرته، ولا طاغية إلا أهلكته، ولا حاجة لك في هذه الدنيا ولا في الآخرة إلا قضيتها لنا يا رب العالمين. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان، اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين وفي الشام وفي العراق وفي اليمن وفي الهند وفي ميانمار وفي كل مكان، في أفغانستان، في مصر وليبيا وتونس والمغرب والجزائر، وفي أفريقيا بأسرها يا الله. اللهم انصرنا في هذا البلد، اللهم انصرنا في هذا البلد، اللهم انصرنا في هذا البلد. اللهم من أراد خيرا لهذه الأمة المحمدية فوفقه إلى كل خير، ومن أراد شر لها وللمسلمين فخذه أخذ عزيز مقتدر، واجعل تدبيرهم تدميرهم. اللهم عليك بأعداء الإسلام، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. أكمل الصلاة يرحمني ويرحمكم الله، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اتقوا الله يا عباد الله.
الله أكبر، الله أكبر.